start with some small audience check, okay? It will be easy, I promise. I know you are a little tired of the whole day of knowledge and food and everything. So I will have a task for you, super simple one. You just need to raise your right hand or left hand or both hands if you agree with sentence I'm saying, okay? We can do it? I see, yeah, some people are really terrified about it. Don't worry, yeah? You can do it, I believe in you. Okay, who of you is a developer here? Almost everyone, perfect. Who of you is web developer? Perfect. Any testers here? Few of you, perfect. Who of you heard about accessibility before? Web accessibility, almost everyone, perfect. I hope it won't be too easy for you, but we will see. So one more question. Who of you have seen this page before? No one. It may be surprising for you, but Stack Overflow has homepage. And it looks like that for majority of us. For those who don't know what Stack Overflow is, you know, long time ago, before ChatGPT and Gemini, we had a chat, we had a forum for asking questions. And what is better, people were delivering snippets of code. You can just copy paste in your code and it will work. It was amazing, right? I know that right now everyone is using ChatGPT, but you know, I'm old and I still remember where we are using Stack Overflow. But yeah, I also didn't know it has homepage. Why I said it looks like that for majority of us? Because according to the research, as much as one of 12 men and one of 200 women in the world will see it differently because they are colorblind. And for majority of you, color blindness may look like this. You are thinking about seeing the world in grayscale. But actually, it's the least common case. For majority of people, color blindness will mean something more like this or this. So not seeing some particular colors like red, green, or shades of some specific colors. And during my talk, I want to share my tips on how to build web pages which are available for everyone. Not only for people with color blindness, but really everyone. Before we will go there, ciao. Mi chiamo Dominika, sono Polacca, and that's all I can say in Italian. So sorry for that. Hope it was not too bad. I'm full stack developer working currently at Qualtrics in Krakow. It's an international company. If you are interested, just Google it. I'm also a Google developer expert in web technologies and huge karaoke lover. So if you know any good karaoke places nearby, please use any of those links and let me know. But also you can use my Twitter handle or LinkedIn if you just want to ask some questions or stay in touch. It will be great. But yeah, unfortunately today, I'm not speaking about karaoke, but about accessibility. So let's start with question, what is accessibility? And you know, it's 2024. So of course I started with asking ChatGPT about it. But let's be honest, this is super long text and contains words I can't even pronounce in my native language. It's super difficult to understand and to remember, and even if you read that, you can't just summarize that in one sentence. So actually, I prefer a little different definition. Accessibility is just building software available for everyone, including individuals with disability. Mostly we are focusing on this part, people with some disabilities. Maybe one more thing. Sometimes you may see this shortcut, A11Y. And for example, on Twitter, we are using that to mark some materials about accessibility. It was created from taking the first and the last letter of the word accessibility and counting number of letters in between. Smart, right? What is funny? This hashtag is not accessible. Because when you see it for the first time, you have no idea what does it mean. So we are using inaccessible hashtag for marking tags about and tweets about accessibility. Ironic, right? Okay. So, yep. What are benefits? I said definition of accessibility. Okay, why we are doing that? So for first thing, we just want to provide equal information for everyone. So each user of the internet should be able to buy on our webpage, to read article, to learn from our trainings, materials, and stuff like that. Secondly, when you create accessible webpage, it's better for everyone. Just think about captions in the movies. When you are watching a movie of a person who is not native speaker in given language, it's much easier to understand that when you have those captions, right? When you have well-structured web page with good navigation, it's just easier to navigate. And what's interesting, we have researchers showing that retention of users in shops which are accessible is better even among people without any disabilities, because it's just easier to navigate, easier to use, and you are just going back to that. And what is more and more important is adaptation to legal requirements. And I won't spend much time about it, but if you haven't heard, European Accessibility Act is coming next year. So please check. There's a huge chance that law is required on your webpage. So check how to adjust for that. Similar laws we have also for US or Canada and many other countries. And as I said previously, we are speaking about real needs. And those needs may be permanent, like person who has only one hand or can't hear and stuff like that. But it may be also temporary. Like, for example, you have some arm injury. You don't invest in special keyboard. You just need to use computer a little differently for 2 weeks, months, something like that. And it may be also situational. So for example, you are at the bar or at the karaoke and you can't hear. So we are using captions to just learn what's happening there. So, you know, very often when we are speaking about accessibility, we are thinking about others. Just be egoistic. Think about yourself in different situations. And there's a huge chance that, you know, at least some of those needs will also occur for you. Okay, one more very important thing. Not all disabilities are visible. And if you are a person who needs some additional support, for example, at airports or other places, you may check this hidden disabilities card. There's this logo with sunflower. It's a slight sign for example, airport staff that you will need some small support, and you know, you don't have to announce it publicly for everyone. They will know what to do and how to support you. And yeah, a lot of theory, a lot of stuff, but what is really important, we are speaking about real people and their needs. It's why we will start with stepping into your user's shoes. It may be difficult sometimes, but the first experiment is super easy, I promise you. You've seen it before. So you can easily emulate color deficiencies. What I strongly recommend is go to your Chrome DevTools. Okay, one more question. Who of you used Chrome DevTools at least once? Everyone, perfect. So, probably you already know that, but if you don't know, you have some great toolbox built in your Chrome browser, available for free without any additional installations and everything. You just need to use shortcuts visible on the screen, or click 3 dots, more tools, developers tools, and go into Chrome DevTools. What's interesting, you have much more options than those typical ones there. And instead of going to elements or styles or something like that, you can go further. find more options inside DevTools, which were in more tools before, right? Kind of funny. And find section called rendering. In this page, there's a section called emulate vision deficiencies. And from here, you can choose different options. So you may choose to preview your web page or any web page available in the internet in grayscale, but also how it will look like for a person who can't see red or blue or other colors. What I strongly recommend is just change those settings for half an hour and try to use the internet the same way you're using typically. Is everything readable? Do you know what is a button and what is a link? Or my favorite thing ever. Fields with errors in the form were marked with red. Thanks, really helpful tip. Please don't do it at home, okay? So yeah, it's how you can emulate vision deficiencies and preview your web page easily. The second very easy experiment you can do is just unplug your mouse, because people using screen readers or some supportive devices very often don't have access to touchpad. So again, unplug your mouse. Don't cheat. Don't use touchpad. And just try to use keyboard navigation to navigate via your web page. How many clicks you need to go from the very top of the page to, for example, buying a product, or to the main article? I saw a web page where it took 60 clicks. So please don't do it, okay? It's very annoying, it's very difficult. And also, where your focus will be after closing some modals, for example. Will it return to the place where you created this modal? Or maybe you are again at the very top of your web page and you need to do those 60 clicks again. And third experiment, the most difficult to manage, but also the most mind-blowing, at least for me, is visiting invisible exhibitions. You can see them in many, many cities, in Berlin, Warsaw, Budapest, and many others. So there are places where you can feel as a blind person. And you have to perform typical tasks, like create a coffee or stuff like that. But you can't see. You came into total darkness. And yeah, that's the really, really mind-blowing experience I can strongly recommend to everyone. Okay, so you stepped into your user's shoes. Let's talk what you may saw there and about the most popular mistakes in web. First of them, divs everywhere. So yeah, we are web developers, we have HTML, we have so many amazing elements, buttons, links, lists, stuff like that. But in the end, you know, I'm just creating div, adding some custom JavaScript to make it work, installing and stuff like that. The problem is, if you use correct HTML structure, you will receive a lot of accessibility features for free. So, for example, keyboard navigation on button. It will be handled for you. You don't have to worry about it. When you create your own custom divs, of course, it will work. But you will need to add your custom JavaScript there. You will need to add some special ARIA tags to support that. Screen reader will say, sorry, it's just a text. I have no idea what is this and how to handle that. So be lazy, okay? Laziness is good. And just use correct HTML structure. How to preview problems with that in your web page. Again, going back to Chrome DevTools, I'm kind of crazy about this tool. You will see more Chrome DevTools in my presentation soon. So probably you've seen this tab here called Elements. It's one of the first things each web developer is learning. But in my version, there's this magical button here, right? How to enable that? When you go to Chrome DevTools, find a tab called Accessibility. Sometimes it's hidden, so you have to click those arrows to find it. And check a checkbox called Enable Full Page Accessibility Tree. After that, you can switch between HTML view and accessibility tree. So you may see how your HTML, how your web page will be translated for example, for screen reader. And what is super cool, when you, for example, select some specific element, it will be also highlighted here. So you may see if your changes help with something or how your HTML is actually rendered into this accessibility tree. Second thing, headers order. Again, basics of HTML, right? H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. But when you use incorrect order, screen readers can be really, really crazy because there are a lot of tools building structure of our web page and help us navigate, jump from one section to another based on those headers. So it's, again, super simple thing. Just use correct headers order, and it will help creating a clear structure of your web page. Next thing, insufficient contrast color ratio. I may guess that for people in the back of the room, this text is much more harder to read than this text, right? It's only because contrast between text and the background here is smaller, here is higher. And it's one of the most typical problems in our web pages. When you emulate those vision deficiencies for a while, you will see how worse it is when you can't see some specific shades or specific colors. Fortunately, we have a super simple answer also for that. And it's hidden in a tab called CSS Overview. Have you seen that? Anyone? Oh, there's one person. Cool. So I will show you something new. Yes. There's a tab which will create a CSS report of all styling used on your web page. And it's called CSS Overview. Again, from DevTools, I told you. So what is super cool? This report not only listing all colors you have in your web page, like all background colors, text colors, and stuff like that. And when you click on this color, it will list you all elements using this color. So for example, when you have some color palette in your company and someone is telling you this blue is not a blue I wanted to have in the web page, it's much easier to find the correct blue this way than scanning each blue element in our web page by yourself. But also, it's listing all contrast issues in the web page. So when you click on it, it will list all elements with given problems. What's more, when you go back from there to our styling tab, you may just click on color picker in colors. And here is a section called contrast ratio. Sometimes you need to extend it, and it will tell you what is a requirement for AA or AAA. What is even better, there's a button not visible for you because the contrast ratio is too low, but you have to trust me. There's a button, and when you click it, Chrome DevTools will propose you a new color, as similar to the original as it's possible, but filling those criteria about contrast ratio. So when you don't have support from your UX designer, it's a quick way to find a new color, better color for your styling. And when you just hover over your elements, here there's additional information about contrast. So this icon here is saying you to check because there's something wrong. The contrast is insufficient. Another popular mistake. Yeah, we all love watching cute dogs in the internet, right? But sometimes there's something wrong. For example, pictures are not loading. And then you may see if someone was thinking about accessibility or not really. Because, for example, here, there's no alternative text. So you have no idea what was in the picture. Or you have a text, image 1, 2, 3. Thanks for nothing, yeah? And people using screen readers also don't know what's in your picture unless you will provide this information for them. And you can do it super easily. It's enough to add alt and text, like description of the image in it, It may be also a real label or another tag. What is really interesting, for example, Instagram is experimenting with generating that automatically for you when it's possible. So when you forgot about adding this alternative text, some algorithms are trying to fill that and put correct information there, but they are not so good yet. So it's better to just explain and show what should be there. So when the picture is broken or someone can't see the picture, may know what's there. You can also put this tag empty. It means that it's just decorative and screen reader should ignore this image. And there's another category of problems with animations. When too many things are moving and, rotating and doing some stuff in the web pages, some people may feel some headache. People with ADHD can't focus. For example, they can't read the content in the web page because there's some GIF rotating and blinking and doing some stuff, so their focus is going there. There are also many people who can just feel nausea about it. And there's special settings on your operating system level where you can prefer reduced motion. And we, as web developers, we should think about it and include in our code. You can easily detect that someone changed this setting using CSS, this snippet, or JavaScript. Window Match Media prefers reduced motion. Fun fact, it helps also when you try to be more productive. So I'm using that mostly to focus more on my work. And one more thing about animations, but the next slide may be dangerous for people who are vulnerable for motions, and also for people with good taste. So, I told you, okay? It will be dangerous. Do you remember building web pages like that? I do. I even did something similar very early in my career. So, if you are still building web pages like that, please stop, okay? I will find you, I will hunt you till the end of your life. Please stop. It was cool in 90s. Right now, we know that we can do better. So just avoid unneeded motions and colors and everything, and do it more like readable and elegant and nice. Okay, a lot of rules, a lot of things to remember, and I don't even mention all of them. Fortunately, we have guidelines. So there are some rules we can follow to understand everything, That's great, right? It's great to have some instructions. So let's take a look there. There's even a link called Quick Reference. But do you see how many items we have in this menu? Ah, nice, yeah, I can read it in 5 minutes. What's more, each section has many other links in it. You should read and understand and, learn everything about that. And you still have to learn about building your web page in modern way. There is new Angular version you should upgrade. There are some performance things you should remember about. And of course, there's Gen AI, so you have to learn a lot of other stuffs, yeah? Easy peasy, right? Okay. Do you feel a little overwhelmed after seeing those guidelines? No? No one? Okay, at least few people nodded. So thanks. Yeah, I felt really overwhelmed when they told me that, oh, you know what? You have to learn about accessibility right now. Here are some instructions. So what we did in my team and what I can recommend to you to not feel overwhelmed and just be lazy again, yeah? Do your job, but do it in a good way. From DevTools, again, we have something called Lighthouse. So audits available totally for free, built in your browser. You don't have to install anything. You are just going to Lighthouse tab in Chrome DevTools, and you can perform some audit of your web page. After that, you will receive information. Firstly, score, between 1 and 100. Score below 50 is bad. and you should really, really focus on given area. 51, 89, it's okay, but you can do better. And what we are trying to achieve, it's 90 till 100. And sometimes it's not worth fighting for 100 because difference between 98 and 100, it's, super costly. But this score above 90 is what you want to achieve. What is cool? In this report, you are not only receiving the score, you also receive list of things you can improve in your web page. And in each of them, you will receive a short information, what can be improved, link to a blog where you can learn more why it's important, how to address that, how it's calculated, and stuff like that. And in many, many cases, list of failing elements in your web page, so you can easily detect and, of course, fix them. There are also another tools very similar to this one. There's, for example, Axe from DQ. You need to install that, but works very similar to Chrome DevTools. It provides you more information about how important it is. For example, is it critical error or it's just minor, can be addressed later. And I know that there are a few people, like many people, who prefer this one. Personally, I prefer Chrome DevTools, but it's like personal preference. Both tools are cool. And there's also something called Accessibility Insights for Web. It's, again, this one is for free. It's extension. And you can also create this automated audit of your web page. So also can recommend this one. OK, do you feel a little better that we have at least some automation? Yes. Thanks, Ahmed, for supporting me and answering. But there are more people answering. Yes. OK, once again, do you feel a little better? Yes, perfect. So I will spoil your mood because, each chain is as good as the weakest link. And when you have a super strong chain, but you are adding something like that in between, sorry, it's not the best solution. And we have to remember about accessibility at the very beginning of the project, in the middle of your project, in the end of your project. So at every stage of the project's life. And very often we have a case when someone is coming and it's like, you know what? European Accessibility Act is coming next year. So we have to make our web page accessible. So whole team starts doing some changes, adjusting everything, rewriting. But later on, the project is finished, and we are just moving on to other things. Sorry, it won't work, because each change may impact accessibility. And when, for example, keyboard navigation is broken on one element in the middle of the web page, you can't navigate to others. So you are breaking everything, even if you think there's only small change. It's why I want to give you tips on how to include accessibility in process. And again, it's not like a rule which will work for everyone, but it's something I implemented in few teams and worked for us. So I'm sharing my thoughts and what we did. It may or may not work for you. Just think about it. Maybe you will find something useful. First of all, mockups. Start thinking about accessibility at the very beginning of the project. And for example, in my team, when a UX designer is providing some mockups, we start asking difficult questions like, how keyboard navigation will work? Should we use keyboard like arrows, or maybe tab, or maybe something else? How it will look like when you zoom it 200 times? Like, we should be able to zoom text in the web page. How it will behave? How table should be presented for people who can't see and are using screen readers? If you ask those questions at the very beginning, your UX designer will be a little annoyed, maybe, at the very beginning, but there's a metric from Pragmatic Engineer book, which I really love, which is telling that finding an issue and fixing issue on design level is 10 times cheaper and faster than fixing the same issue during the development process, which is 10 times cheaper and faster than fixing this issue when it's found during testing, which is 10 times cheaper and faster to fix than doing that during when code is production. So I know it's simplified metric, but yeah, it's just cheaper, easier, and on the paper we can move everything around. In real code, it's much more difficult. Second thing, you can write accessibility unit tests, and all you need is visible in the screen. So mostly some imports, important thing is here. So I'm just taking my component and, expect to have no violations. And here it's done on up level. It's too high, but you can do it for each component. So when something breaks, you know where exactly is the problem. So there's a problem with this list or something else in your web page, and you can also block release when tests are failing. So you can easily find and fix those problems. If you want to have information about something incorrect even earlier, use linter. And I found it extremely useful, especially when work with junior developers who have no or very small knowledge about accessibility. Because thanks to that, in your IDE, during coding, you will receive information something is wrong. Stop, please don't do it. Just fix that. And for example, here, someone is trying to do some interaction on div. So there's a red highlight. There's a pop-up when you hover over that saying please stop, don't do it. And you can super quickly fix your code, fix your bugs. And it's much faster than finding that during unit tests or testing your actual web page. And of course, automated audits I showed previously. So again, run them from time to time and see the results. Okay, 2024, so there's no presentation about speaking about AI, robots, and stuff like that. So very, very difficult question for you. What do you think? Will AI and robots take over the world super soon? If you think so, raise your hand. No one. If you think they will not, raise your hand. Okay, there are more of people. And yeah, I'm a speaker, so I have a final answer here. But before we will go there, I will show you something. Maybe it will change your mind. I'm going to Canary Chrome, so it's like more experimental version, and sometimes you can access some features in Canary before they are available for everyone. It may be unstable thanks to that, but also you have access to other features. And I have my super complicated app with one button telling click me. When I click it, it's just showing message, button clicked. Super smart app, right? Okay, but what do you think? Maybe before we will go into accessibility, one more question. What is the most difficult thing in programming, in CSS and styling? Centering the image or button, yes, that's right. But we have an answer, and AI will help us with that. So in the latest Chrome Canary, it's available for everyone. So I have an option called Ask AI. Okay, so I will ask AI, and I clicked on this button, so it knows I'm asking about this specific button. How to center this element. Of course, it will take a while, solving the most difficult CSS problems in the world is not easy, but it's generating something. So let's see. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Yeah, you can use Flexbox. You can use Grid, sure. Can you apply this solution for me? Please do so. Again, thinking. Asking me, there are some changes. It will execute. Almost there, right? live demo. Last time it worked. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe it will handle also. OK. Yay! Success! AI helped them solve the most difficult word. Yeah? OK. So right now, is anyone convinced that AI is intelligent and will take over the world? Still not, yeah? OK. I'm a speaker, so I have a final say today at least. And in my opinion, also, they not. And there are many reasons behind it. First of them, you see before styling, but also there's Herbert, the vacuum, which is saying, my human, Herbert is stuck near a cliff. Really, Herbert, don't be so dramatic, OK? But there's also second reason, much more connected to the topic of our presentation. Only 57% of problems with accessibility can be detected via automated tools. And let's go back to this demo. So I have this thing, and when you take a look, it's a div, right? So when I switch to this accessibility preview tree, it's telling me it's just a static text. So as a person who can't see, who will use only screen reader, I have no idea that you can click and interact with this element. So again, or maybe not ask on this particular element, just ask on the whole web page. How to make this page accessible? Let's see. That's this dramatic moment where something can go wrong because, it's not pre-recorded, so I have no idea what it will answer. OK. OK, it found some problems with color contrast. Let's see how it will work. Still thinking, still generating stuff. Still thinking, come on, it will be so much faster using Chrome DevTools, right? But yeah. OK, just suggest me better combination. And what is interesting, it didn't mention that there's a div, which should be a button. It say a lot of stuff like you should check a lot of things, you should check links, you should check colors and stuff like that. But it didn't mention this actual button. And yeah, it can change this background color for me. It can do stuff, but still, you are a human. You are a person who can validate what AI is telling to you. So it may help you. Oh, really? Yeah, that's accessible page via AI. So yeah, you can't trust machines, OK? We established that. OK, let's finish with it. So yeah, unfortunately, we need manual tests. And what you can do, this tool you've seen before, Accessibility Insights for Web. It's super cool because it has not only this automated audit, but also checklist of things to test manually to do correct assessment. And it will guide you via all areas, there are more of them. And in each step will tell you, you should check this and that. And you can click failed or passed. You can generate a report based on that. So when you don't know what to test or how to test, it's a great guideline. Just follow steps in Accessibility Insights for Web. Also, include accessibility in your code review. If you are using those templates for merge request, I'm doing that, you can add some checkboxes about things you should check before accepting or rejecting merge request. And we added this checkbox about accessibility there. So second pair of eyes, it's always super useful and may help you detect some problems and, of course, fix them before they will go to production. Oof, a lot of speaking from my side. But we are engineers. We love numbers, right? So let's take a look on numbers. Those you've seen before, 1 of 12 men and 1 of 200 women in the world are colorblind. Up to 26% of adults in the US have some type of disability. So a lot of people and a lot of potential users of your web page, app, shop, whatever you are building. By 2060, the number of people 65 or older is expected to double to 98 million. And we will be also old at some time, and we will need the zooming or bigger buttons and stuff like that. So again, be a little egoistic, think about yourself in few years, and just create things you may use in the future. There are also nice numbers. 96% of all detected accessibility errors in this project, WebAIM Project Million, fall into main 6 categories. So fixing only 6 main categories of problems will have huge impact on your project. So, if you may remember only one thing from my presentation, please don't remember this thing about AI making accessible page, okay? But please remember that accessibility isn't just about ramps, captions. It's about creating a world where everyone feels welcome and valued. And I have a small homework for you. When you go home, just open your web page in Chrome, run the Lighthouse accessibility audit, and fix at least one bug. Because thanks to that, together, we can create a better world where everyone is welcomed and world which is accessible for everyone. Thank you. One last slide. There is an app for feedback. Without feedback, I'm like without food or Aperol spirits. So not really happy, but with your feedback, I will be super happy cat. So please take a while to vote on my presentation. I also want to improve that and make it better. Or you just need to, suggest organizers to invite me next year. It's always nice to be here in Venice. And if you have any questions, please raise your hand and ask me them. I will be also around if you prefer to ask them later. I will be somewhere here. Okay, any questions right now? Sure.